Good morning. We're Death from Above 1979, and these are some videos. You can invite the kids in if you want. Maybe you're eating a pancake. Maybe it's a waffle. Bowl of cereal. Don't cry over that milk. There's more where that came from. This is Australia. There's plenty of milk.
The next video is for Teenage Riot by Sonic Youth, which I have some lyrics of tattooed on my arm. One of the many lies we used to make up about our band when people would ask how we met was we would say we met at a Sonic Youth concert, which might be true.
It's
to some
the
extent.
Truest one.
It's the closest to
because
being
we did
true.
go to a Sonic Youth concert.
Yeah.
At the same time. I don't know if we went together, but.
And Sonic Youth were opening for Stereolab.
They're opening for Stereolab.
Stereolab.
No, wait a second.
Was it the other way around?
It was the other way around. I liked Stereolab, and you liked Sonic Youth. Yeah. And we went late. I don't remember if we went together, but I remember showing up late thinking, oh, I'll miss some of Sonic Youth to see Stereolab. And I'd missed Stereolab, and I kind of resented it, and I thought for a long time that Sonic Youth blew chunks because they weren't the show I wanted to see. Clearly not the case. They're a great band.
Sonic Youth was like probably more influence on me than anything that I had heard up to that point, like apart from, sort of classic, just playing stuff, player music. But yeah, we got to play with them in Norway, and our backstages were right side by side. And I got to say what I always wanted to say to Thurston Moore, which was that I could buy all the exact same stuff as him, set it all exactly the same, and play, and it would sound nothing like it. Because it's just, there's something else.
That's the same for you, though. I play your rig, and it doesn't sound like you.
That's why I'm saying all this. Like, in terms of influence, the hope was to make something that was mine, but because I was a fan of things that were someone else's creation. And also, I guess the thing that I leave out in that story generally is that I had tried to buy everything that he had. I'm like, I just need a Jazzmaster, and then what pedal do I need? Okay, I'm just going to get all that stuff. Nope, it's not. It is not the sum of the parts. It's actually the person. And
I thought if I bought a V-neck T-shirt, I'd sing like Jeff Buckley, and it didn't work out.
Don't buy a boat. All right, Sonic Youth, Teenage Riot. All right, next song is "Frustration" by Johnny Hunter. And I picked this song for entirely personal reasons because I produced and recorded this song. And a friend of mine in Melbourne said, "Hey, can you work on this band?" I'm like, "What do they sound like?" And he described it, and I said, "Why are you asking me? I don't understand." He's like, "No. I think what you do is different in a way that will complement them and do for them what I want to have happen." So it was like a thing that my first reaction was to say no to, but then I ended up talking to the guys and actually getting it and liking it. And then at some point in the process, I had a eureka moment in the production of it. And I was like, oh, this is actually great. This is really enjoyable. And I had a lot of fun doing it. And then it seemed like 2 days after I give them the music, suddenly there was a video. And I think they're great. I made some more songs for them. I don't know when they're coming out or if they already are, but I hope you like it. This is the sound of my living room.
This next tune is David Bowie, "Ashes to Ashes," a very famous song. Doesn't require any editorializing by me, but I will say that aside from all of the other great qualities of this song and video, the snare sound in this recording is so special to me, and that's the snare sound I always want on everything. Obviously, it doesn't work on everything.
No, I was going to say no.
I try to
would not work.
I try to cram it in and everything, but it never works. But yeah, here it is, a great music video by a great artist.
Is this the video it's all like the Harlequin?
Yes, yeah, and it's kind of blown out VHS.
Oh
quality.
Man, I remember when I first saw this, it made me so uncomfortable. I don't know what it was as a child. I felt like I was seeing something that I shouldn't see.
Yes, yeah, totally.
But that's how I felt about Running Down a Dream by Tom Petty as well. I'm like, am I allowed to watch this?
Here you go.
The next song is Come Back Johnny by Devo. Devo is very important to me because my mom went to see them play when she was 8 months pregnant with me. And I've always loved Devo, like since I was a little boy. I think my dad knew that I would like it and really like put it in front of me. Mm-hmm. But many years ago, 10 years ago, I had just bought a puppy and I hadn't named it. And I get in the car, take it over, pick up my child from school. She's like, "Oh, Dad, there's the puppies in the car. What's the puppy's name?" And I said, "Well, it's up to you. You can decide." And she's like, "Well, I want to name the puppy Joan." And I just like didn't say anything and kept driving. And I was just visualizing having to yell Joan across the parking lot or whatever. Joan, I just couldn't imagine it. And so I waited a couple of minutes and I was like, "So what do you want to call the dog?" She's like, "Joan. I said the dog's name is Joan." And then I thought about this song and I said, "What about Joni?" And she's like, "Joni's fine." So Joni is 10 years old now. And this song saved her from just straight up being Joan. Anyhow, this video is amazing. They're cowboys in a bowling alley and there's whips involved. And a synthesizer that only has 1 octave of keys.
Wait, isn't Whip It with cowboys in a bowling alley?
No, it's Come Back Johnny's. They're like,
they probably shot them all on the same day.
Yeah. It's all in Ohio, whatever is happening. But anyhow, this is an excellent song. And the shuffle of this is so unique. I don't think there's another song with this exact weird, like falling forward for the entire song feeling.
I think probably this is one of the videos that when we first met, I went to your parents' house. We went.
I'm probably like, watch this.
Yeah, you're
watch
like, here's 8 things that you need to watch now. I was like, okay, here's the primer to hang out with me.
Yeah, so you'll like it as well.
This next video is Shoes by Tiga, who's a Canadian artist. Jesse's friends with him. I really like this video. It's a very special video. The thing that makes me enjoy this song the most, it's a song that's very specific of the era. It's kind of electro, pre-EDM, post-electro clash sound. And it's a call and response song between a man and a woman. And after a few times of listening to it, I realized it's just Tiga doing the man's voice and Tiga doing the woman's voice pitched up. And once you hear that, it's such a strange feeling. But a really great video and a very fun song. So
I think about him sometimes.
In the shower.
No, not anymore. But when you have those pink pants. Mm-hmm. So one time he was in Toronto and he was going to go be interviewed on Much Music. Mm-hmm. And so I picked him up and I'm driving him and he chose to drive with me because he loved my 1990 BMW. He's like, "This is the last year they were any good," and all this stuff. So we're driving and then he's like, "Is this going to be a big deal?" He's like, "Is it a big deal that I'm doing this?" And I said, "I don't know. It's like, our only music TV station in Canada." He's like, "Well, I've got to put on my pink pants then." I've got to put on my pink pants. And the way he said it twice kind of reminded me of Dustin Hoffman and Rain Man. And so whenever you wear them, I hear Tiga saying that in my old Beamer. It's a great song too.
Sloan, The Good in Everyone. Sloan are a quintessential Canadian group. They're what is the genre? It's like power pop garage or something. They had kind of a beginning in the kind of tendrils of grunge. And
they opened for Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
On tour.
And then they made a record called Twice Removed, which just kind of was like, we love the Beatles. And they made this and then they made another record called One Chord to Another. That was the one that broke through for me. Yeah. And this is the record that this song is on. And they had this video that we're going to watch, which is probably a minute and a half. And it was shot near the airport in Toronto. I guess it kind of had, now that I'm thinking about it, a bit of a sort of Sabotage, Beastie Boys feeling. Like they're kind of dressed up in character and there's kind of a scenario that's playing out. But it was such a raw statement. And at that time in at least Canadian music, things were very like shiny suit syndrome was happening in Canada. Like a lot of big budgets for alt rock music videos, and everything was extremely corny.
How expensive are swinging light bulbs in a dark room?
The budgets are through the roof for swinging light bulbs. But they made cool videos. They were very stylish, and they made things that seemed achievable. I saw them play, and it just sounded like a band playing. And at the time, everything was so overproduced, and they made something that just sounded like, people playing, making creative decisions in a room. Anyhow, so this is Sloan, The Good in Everyone.
That's it. That was some of our favorite music videos that we'd feel comfortable playing for our own children. But you come back tonight, and
It's going to get crazy.
it'll be time for the big show.
You think this outfit
really big
is
show.
saucy? Wait until after hours.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a little blue. I'll
See
say
some
that.
of you then. See the adults then. Maybe.
Hi, we're Death from Above 1979, and this is Rage TV. These are some of our favorite videos. Hope you enjoy some of them. One of them, two of them, three of them, four of them, five of them, six of them, seven of them, eight of them.
For the next 17 hours,
Yeah.
we will be here with you playing a very carefully curated selection of wonderful music videos, and as many of ours as they would allow us to play.
And we might have a costume change somewhere in the next 17 hours, and it might get a little crazy. This next song is the Walker Brothers, The Sun Ain't Gonna Shine. Is it The Sun Ain't Gonna Shine Anymore? I don't know if that's the full title. I wanted to pick a Walker Brothers because I love Scott Walker, and I discovered him at a time when it was very hard to access music, or it was like normal to access music. Now it's extremely easy.
Yeah.
But there was a Radiohead documentary called Making Friends is Easy, I think, that was playing a Much Music late at night one night, and they cut to a Scott Walker song, On Your Own Again, and I was so fascinated by this song.
Did they have a video?
There was no video. It was like it was a montage in this documentary, and they played the Scott Walker song. And
if
I was
you saw
like,
his sunglasses, you'd be like, I need to know more.
I had no idea. I had no idea who he was, what it was. And I tried finding it. There was no way to find things then, like in that way. There was no like database, right? And then eventually Napster happened. And I found this one Scott Walker song and became obsessed with this one Scott Walker song. And then subsequently became obsessed with Scott 4, I think his greatest solo record. And then, so this song is, he was in a boy band called the Walker Brothers. Basically, they pretended to be brothers. And he emerged as like the great talent of that group. Even though he wasn't the best looking one, he was definitely the most talented. So this is Scott Walker and his fake brothers. This next tune is Iggy Pop, I'm Bored. And we picked the video because our dear friend John Bruce Affleck recommended it. Apparently it's Iggy Pop. I don't know the video. Apparently it's Iggy Pop writhing around on the ground in a suit. Is this correct?
Yeah.
But the song is off an album named New Values, which had a very big impact on me. I was working on a record, and I was having a lot of trouble finishing the words and the vocals. And I went to work with a friend of mine named Adrian Popovich in Montreal. And I went to the studio. I had all this instrumental music. I thought I'll just go in the studio and I'll kind of like make stuff up. And I went in the booth and nothing was happening. And I was like trying to sing stuff. And I was like, oh, that's not very good. And I was like trying to write in the studio. And I had an existential crisis and left, like, ducked down under the they weren't paying attention. I ducked down the window and started gathering all of my lyric books and all my things and like tried to sneak out of the studio. And then Adrian and Murray, who was there, were like, where are you going? And I was like, I gotta go. I can't. I had this crazy anxiety attack, I suppose. And then the next day I was at Adrian's place and he just came in and gave me this CD. And he said, here, maybe you'll like this CD. And it unlocked a whole world for me. It's like he knew the perfect antidote to whatever I was feeling.
That's a record with I like girls.
Yeah.
I like to look at them.
And Endless Sea, such a great song. amazing synth songs.
There's a lot of good songs on that record.
Yeah, it's a really good song. Record.
And I get to listen to one of them.
Yep.
All right, the next song is "You Keep Me Hanging On" by Vanilla Fudge, which is, of course, a Supremes cover. Or maybe the Supremes were covering it the way things worked back then. Mm. This video is really special to me because the first time I saw it, I had DJ'd in New York. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And my old friend Armand Van Helden tells me to come by his apartment. Let's go, we'll have some drinks. Okay. I get there. He's got a huge TV in the apartment. We're having some beer. And he's like, you got to watch this, man. You got to watch this. And it could have been anything. Right, it could have been anything at all, and
it's
it was
like a compilation of helicopter crashes.
Anything.
Is what you were expecting.
But like we're standing in front of the TV. We're not even sitting down. We wanted to stand, and then he just put this on, and at every moment he was reacting to it like as if we were watching a sporting event. He's like, "Oh, look at him go! Oh, he's throwing his head."
It's a very full-on
performance. He's going for it 100% the whole time. So whenever I see this video, it takes me back to that exact moment. When it was the most out of left field thing that I could have possibly seen, and now I appreciate it more because I still remember his commentary. I'm not going to try to do it now while you're watching. But
is this like a Beat Club recording? Is it on a blue backdrop? Is that what this?
I think it's black and white. I think the whole thing's black and white. But it's so emotional, and I would like for us to have a video like this someday.
We would have to feel that strongly, though.
Yeah, that's the problem. Hope you enjoy it. This next video, I'm happy that you can play it on TV because when it came out, it absolutely had a warning in front of it back home. So Add Into X, song's called Metal Fingers in My Body. I found this band when their first record was called On the Wires of Our Nerves, and the photo on the cover was of a girl getting surgery and these two guys with weird glasses pulling a Moog synthesizer out of like a giant wound in her chest. And if you get, from a distance, it looks like it's like horror-ish looking. And then you get up close and you see that it's just like, you can see the artness of it. But they...
Almost like a Tim Burton.
Yeah. Thing. Like that Tim Burton gross. It was such an important band for my developing mind. To see this combination of drums and old synths, and back when synths were cheap, right? Like for synth nerds that might be watching this, like Add Into X brought an EMS suitcase synthy on stage on a guitar strap. Like they, you could buy a Moog back then for $200, so they had it. All this stuff was on stage, and there was an element of improvisation always. There's no computers, but they were like a rock band that was all synths. Like they had a theremin that they'd stick out into the crowd and just passing the theremin rod over the crowd, everyone freaking out. We got to see them play once.
They were also the first band that we went to see them play, and then we came down after the show and they were sitting in their van in front of the club, and I thought, wait, you were just on how are you? Like these are people that you can actually meet, and they're doing something, and they're going somewhere. They got to go get gas and they need sandwiches. They're like people, the first time I connected like a record or a band like as a phenomenon to actual human beings.
They were just so cool. Like at the time, they put out a record that was an octagon or a hexagon, but there was 6 flaps that you had to fold together to keep the record in, and then when you would open like a flower, and then you took this record out, and then side A is just 2 robots having an argument, like a domestic disagreement between a female and a male robot voice for a whole side of the record, and then a song on the other side. But it's like
actual art.
Yeah, like it was real art, and really just playing with every idea, and then making insane videos like the one you're about to watch. Such an important group for me, and it everything that I would ever find about them, I was so excited about. Like I saw an interview with the girl, I can't remember what her name is, can't remember anyone's name in it, but she made the interviewer come with her while she was hunting for pigeons. She was just pigeon hunting in the countryside, and the interviewer's just like following along. Like what? everything that I would find out about them made less sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know what happened. I don't know where they've gone.
But
I
they
think
just have normal lives.
I think they were
Still
just
driving vans.
They were so creative, but I think they were slightly too soon because all of that stuff would translate so well now.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be able to afford the synths anymore.
No, no one can. Add and tax metal fingers on my body. It's about exactly what you think it is. Hi, we're still Death from Above.
Wake up! Sorry.
No, that worked.
Get
it
up!
worked. He's awake now.
Wake up! Why'd you put on makeup? We're Death from Above 1979 from Canada. You're currently awake in Australia. This is a reasonable time to be awake in Canada. I don't know why you're still awake in Australia, though. You should probably call your mom when you wake up in the morning. If she's still with us on this planet.
Wow. That really...
I was speaking to someone specific.
Wow.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Sebastien.
And I'm Jesse, and we're Death from Above 1979, and you're watching Rage.
Yeah, this song is called Give It To Me by an artist named Mia Folick. And the reason I picked this video is because my wife made it. But that's not the only reason. It sort of harkens back to something I brought up a couple of times already, where there's a tendency to want to make, when you have a budget for a music video, you want to make it look more expensive than it costs. And if you have a really good idea for a video, it doesn't matter how much it costs. And so my wife, Eva, was asked to make a video for this artist, Mia Folick, and she listened to the song on repeat, and she had this idea. The song kind of brought her on this kind of like up and down journey, and she's like, oh, it kind of feels like a roller coaster. So she thought, oh, why don't I shoot this video on a roller coaster, and that'll be it. It'll be a one shot. We'll strap a camera to the front of a roller coaster, and Mia will sit in the front, and we'll shoot it a couple of times, and that'll be the video. And it's so effective because of the way the song is structured and the way it was shot, that it's, when you have a great idea and a great song and great performances, then you can do anything, and yeah, this is an example of just, that's it. You don't need $1 million to make a great piece of art. You just need a good idea. So here it is. Hi, I'm Sebastien.
And I'm Jesse.
From Death from Above 1979.
How was the bar? Are you feeling tired yet? Want to stay up a little while? Stay up a little while and watch videos that we chose? Sober up, maybe?
Is your phone dead? Is that why you're watching TV?
You're just sitting by the charger?
Waiting for that screen to light up again?
In the meantime.
Rage. This next video is a classic video, Big Bang Baby by Stone Temple Pilots. At the time, the guitarist in my band had a theory that the reason why this video looks so low budget is because the record company didn't want to give the band any money because the singer was such a drug addict that they would spend it all on the drugs. But I think this is an incredible aesthetic choice, both sonically and visually, to make such a raw, stripped down record, which they did on this record. And this video is incredible. It's just sort of that, whatever, it's like the tube cameras, super blown out lighting. It's just a performance video. Again, at a time when music videos had insane budgets and so much money. And it's one of these videos that it set a tone for things like, the Strokes coming out not long after. In the scheme of things, it seems like it's an era, but it's really, I don't know, how long? Well, one was Big Bang Baby, 94 or something. 7 years later, you got the Strokes putting out their videos, which were, this kind of throwback 70s aesthetic, using old equipment. And I think that, yeah, I remember seeing that video and thinking, I'd like to do that one day. No one ever lets you. When we started making videos, we wanted to make videos that were analog feeling and low budget. But at the time, especially in Canada, everyone wanted to make videos look like $1 million, even though they cost, $10,000 or $20,000. They all wanted them to look like $1 million. So what you end up with is a bunch of really bad videos that look so dated because they were trying to look like the height of technology and concept and editing and whatever. But had we had, any power to make our videos look like this video, Big Bang Baby by Stone Temple Pilots, I think they would have held up better. Mm-hmm. Here you go.
I like it. I like it a lot.
This next artist is Conan Moccasin, who is apparently not Australian. He's from New Zealand. He's this. I wish I knew what he was up to today, because he had such a interesting impact. Maybe what was it, like 2012, 13, 14-ish. The first video I saw of his was Chode My Dear, and I thought that was such a strange. I mean, it's an incredibly strange video. Such a good video. He's kind of hanging upside down with his head in a creek with lemons on his eyes and all this painting on his face. Very weird. He's the guy that modulates his vocal up. He's got like a high pitch modulator. And we went to see him, Eva and I went to see him, and his band was so incredible. And he ended up backing up, I think, Charlotte Gainsbourg. Him and his band were backing her up for many years. Just like super great musicians and making incredibly weird music. And such a strange fellow, but really doing it in his own way. And then the video for Faking Jazz Together is one of the great videos, I think, of all time. Yeah, Conan Moccasin. What is he up to today? That's what I want to know.
Call the number below and let us know.
Yeah, call.
This next song is Scissor by the Liars, who I think he was like the first Australian that we had met as a band, because we were like around the Yeah a lot, and they were around, and the guitar player from the Liars actually put out our song Romantic Rights as a 12-inch on his record label. And
Aaron?
Yeah, he was part of Soundvirus.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I never stopped paying attention to what the Liars were doing. And then somebody played me this song, and they didn't say what it was. Mm-hmm. And when I looked for it on YouTube, I saw the video, and it's just like my levels of liking it just kept going up. Each thing that I got, I'm like, wait, it's the Liars? Oh, this video rules. Mm-hmm. Video rules. It's like one of the best things I've ever seen.
There's actually a trick last night I did at our Sydney show where I poured a little water on the snare drum before in a break, a hit. And I learned that from the Liars, because we were playing a show in New York City, and someone said, the Liars are playing at NYU. And we took a cab up, and there was this huge room full of NYU students, and Angus was dating Karen from Yeah-Yeahs at the time. And she snuck up on the drummer and poured a bottle of water on his drums in a break, and then he hit them and the water goes straight up. I thought that's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And I used to do it all the time, ripped it off and did it all the time. And now I'm too concerned with breaking my stuff, so I don't do it so much anymore. But I learned that from the Liars.
You will enjoy this video. Next song is by a band called the Icarus Line. And so there's a guy in the Icarus Line named Don. And Don played guitar in the Icarus Line. But before he did that, he played guitar in a band called Ink and Dagger. And before that, he was in a band called...
Wasn't Eric Wareheim in Ink and Dagger?
For a little while, yeah.
Eric Wareheim from Tim and Eric.
Yeah. But Don had a band called Frail. I saw Frail play on New Year's Eve in 1994 in Coburg, Ontario. And I was like pretty much shaking afterwards. The band was so crazy.
My buddy Dave Hartel Mercy killed a fish in Coburg, Ontario.
Sometimes you gotta put it out of its misery. The hook gets in a weird spot. Anyhow, so I just kept following.
Stomped on it on the beach. Sorry, go ahead.
I love where this is going.
His father made him do it.
It's on late at night. My dad used to get me to throw a rock bass on the shore all the time. He's like, no, they eat the eggs of the good fish. So I would just be a little kid and just looking at this nice fish. I'm like, sorry, man.
Also explains so much.
Yeah. So Don's bands got progressively better, but I couldn't you end up growing up and not having the time to pay that much attention. And the Icarus line, when they started, it was kind of like at the same time as we were, and they were always getting in trouble, whatever it was. They were playing a show in Texas, and quite famously, there was like they were in some like hard rock cafe type thing.
Yeah, the hard rock.
And there was a Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar in a glass cabinet, and during the show, they go over, kick the glass, just take the guitar out, plug it in, and play it in the show.
Totally detuned.
Yeah, but that was the type of band they were, and I just I didn't have the brain space to take in any more music at the time. But as I've gone back, a friend of mine has made a documentary about them that I'm not sure if it's out yet or not. But it made me think about it again and hear it. I'm like, oh wow, I actually would have loved this band.
It's hard in that era when we were doing our
so
thing
much.
to like appreciate really what's happening around you, because you're kind of competitive in a way. Like you have to,
you're competing for your energy.
Yeah, but you also, when you're making a rock and roll band, you have to believe truly that you're the greatest band in the world.
That's
so
always
if other
been easy
bands,
for us, right?
If other bands are happening, you have to imagine that they're total shit. So it's hard to absorb the bands that are happening at the same time as you. That's just my theory.
Well, when I've gone back and I wish I had been there to see those moments. I wish I had, because it was accessible to us.
Didn't Aaron play in Nine Inch Nails?
Aaron played in Nine Inch Nails while we were on the road with them. So like it was always very close, and I didn't appreciate it at the time, and now I really do. And I don't know what this video looks like because I wasn't watching music videos at the time.
I'm going to guess there's some black hair involved.
There's definitely going to be black hair and some eyeliner, and but some awesome music, and you're going to enjoy this one as well.
Hi, we're Death Room Above 1979. Call now for a discount on knee pads, Band-Aids, frankincense, and myrrh.
A Whore's Christmas.
Oh my goodness.
That's a wrap.
That is a wrap if you want to be a wrap.
Fucking Tom Waits album. Whore's Christmas.
I hope this is still running.
Still Death from Above, still here. That's the end of our selection of our favorite music videos. But now we're just going to bombard you with our own music videos. We saved the best for last. You'll agree.
Romantic Rights. This is our
Very first
video we made. And this is, this was very much a crash course in videos. I remember having very strong feelings about what the video should be. We actually wanted to make almost a shot-for-shot replica of the Michael Jackson video Rock With You. That's what we wanted. We wanted a smoke machine, an old camera, and lasers. That's all we wanted.
Sequin outfits.
Yeah, sequin outfits. But we were like, this is what we want. And the video director at the time, his name's Chris Grismer. Now I feel like a broken record, but everyone was always trying to make a little bit of money look like too much money. So instead of doing what we wanted, they decided they would make this high concept video. And what ended up on screen was a lot better than what was actually shot that day. Yeah. So what ended up on screen is what you'll see, which is this a concept like the Light Bright, this children's toy. I don't know if you have this in Australia, but it's an old children's toy. And I think that, if you put this video beside Fell in Love with a Girl by White Stripes, you'll see some similarities. I think that's where the inspiration came from.
Maybe that's just where animation was at.
Yeah. So it's, this kind of semi-animated video, and there's some live footage of us playing. There was this whole B-plot that was written where there's a robot, okay, that is supposed to drive in and reach an arm out and then take our hearts out of our bodies and pull out our hearts and go and put the heart in its own body and drive away. I was like, okay. And they fucking pull up this robot, and it looked like a fucking trash can. Not like in a cool Doctor Who way or in a cool George Lucas way. It was just a box, actually. It was a box with a RC underneath.
It didn't even look as good as the robot from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
No, and it wasn't
nothing.
like Michel Gondry style. It was just like some person that just ate a ham sandwich built this thing, and it looked so bad that we canned it on the day. We were like kids. We had no power really.
Never done anything like that.
Never done anything, but we're like, no. So the video that ended up coming out, I think was quite good. But
it's probably closer to what we wanted in the end.
Yeah,
in a sense.
I remember when they brought out the laser finally, and it was so underwhelming. And I thought all we wanted was the laser and a smoke machine. That's all we needed. We didn't need any of this stuff. We did not need a cardboard box.
Yeah,
we did not need the ham sandwich.
But I think apart from, I still have the sequin jacket that I'm wearing in this video. Every time I take it out, more sequins fall off.
Yeah, that's the nature of the sequin.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very
temporal,
very poorly made. Like I don't know if it was meant to even make it through the day, but the end result was great, and it was pretty fun. Having never done anything like that before in my entire life. All right, so now we're gonna do everything really fast. And then
I also remember
really
going
slow.
out after and a bunch of the crew like doing blow and stuff. And like that's this world. Like we were doing. Can I get a pint of beer, please? And there's like fucking Toronto film crews on going wild. Anyway, we're good boys though. Now good men. Enjoy. Virgins. Yes, this is our music video for Virgins. This was a video that almost didn't get made. Again, was directed by Eva, my wife, and she was the one that was like, "No, you need to have a video for Virgins. That's crazy. Why wouldn't you have? Why is this not a single? That's insane." And she pushed it through. She found the money, and was the one that made this video happen. If she wasn't so motivated, we wouldn't have made a video for it. It wouldn't have been a single. So, thanks to her for that. And she had this concept of Amish, Rumspringa, the sort of the tradition of Amish or Mennonite people leaving the culture and going out and sort of experiencing the English world, and
it's their opportunity to choose whether or not they want to keep living that way.
Right. So this is kind of a play on that, and you'll see in the video that the young kids go out to experience life and they don't know how to do it, so they end up snorting ashes instead of drugs and and eating flowers instead of mushrooms. But this is the video for it.
Next one is for our song Freeze Me, our one of our big Hollywood videos for a big Hollywood record. The piano in this song was actually Stevie Wonder's piano because it was made in his old studio where he made all his records in the 70s, and the keys were worn so much that they had a dish to them. Anyhow, well, we needed to make a video for the song, and we got a bunch of different treatments sent to us, and most of them were very elaborate, but then there was one that was just like a paragraph. Like
written on a cocktail napkin.
Yeah, but that's a cocktail napkin you wouldn't even needed half of the cocktail napkin to write this out. But it was just a point form concept of a mansion with bodybuilders and they're like having drinks while they blow up the city or something like that, and that was basically it. And then the record label was like, well, the guys aren't in the video, and my proposal was that we would be, what if we were the butlers at the party of bodybuilders? And they all liked that idea.
Yeah. The director, I believe his name is Corey, he made a movie called Macho Tail Drop, which I had seen, which was like almost like a Willy Wonka skateboard video. Kind of like a mix of The Outsiders and Willy Wonka and skateboard videos and the Return to Oz. It was like a very strange, high concept gang style video. It was very strange. And I wonder what he's up to these days. Such an interesting guy.
The dog in the video is his dog. that happened to be there.
There was a dog in the video?
Yeah, there's a dog. It was his dog. I hung out with the dog. I felt like I was on some sort of dog nannying in between.
There's a scene in this video where there are two bodybuilders, a male and a female bodybuilder, seducing one another in a bedroom. And we are standing, I think.
We were standing right there.
I think we're like their butlers in this scene. And so we're just standing next to these, like, I mean, just very interesting human specimens. And they're grinding on each other. And we were having such a fun time. Which I remember that
the whole day
the
was
woman's
fun.
name. She was so funny. And she knew that it was absurd. And everyone knew that it was absurd. It wasn't like they weren't in on the joke. Like everyone was in on the joke. So it made it such a light video. And you're just hanging out with these like really incredible human creatures the whole day. Like what other opportunity would we have had to just hang out with that caliber of person physically? It's crazy.
Do you remember my moment with the barbells? So they had weights because part of the video that you're about to watch involves the bodybuilders working out by an indoor pool. And at one point I went over to the weights just to see. And I got down on the bench and I'm like, oh, this weight is fake. It's just for the filming. A little while later, time goes by, and I'm walking through that same area again, and I go try the weights, and I'm like, oh my God. The bodybuilders didn't like that the weights were fake.
Right, there's no resistance.
They're like, no, this sucks. And they had them put real weights on.
Amazing.
It was such a great moment. Also,
I guess we had a weights budget on that video.
There's also a moment in this video where I'm carrying a really large tray of corn dogs, and that was also quite heavy. It's quite hard to carry that many corn dogs.
Real corn dogs.
Real corn dogs, and we ate them. I ate them.
I did not.
No? Corn dogs, bodybuilders, swimming pool, nuclear explosion, people drinking water, and a fluffy dog. Frees me.
This next video is Caught Up by Death from Above 1979. That's us. This video was written and directed by my wife, Eva. Really fun day. It was produced by this company in Toronto called Common Good, and they do a lot of like kind of Drake world, rap world, Toronto hip hop world videos. And they're so used to artists showing up with a bunch of people and a lot of vehicles. And we showed up like on our own, kind of with our own wardrobe stuff.
Hi.
And they're like, hi. And they're like, that's it? There's no more people? It's like, it's just two of us. It's pretty normal. I remember the big issue on this video was they'd rented these giant curtains, sort of this, that's different from these curtains back here. These big red velvet curtains, kind of a, David Lynch, Twin Peaks vibe. And they couldn't get the creases out of them. They were folded up in a bag. And it was so disturbing to Eva that you couldn't get that smooth feeling. And I remember that was like the biggest drum of the day was like, these curtains look like shit. They look like they just came out of a bag, which they had. And I was on internet recently, just a couple of days ago, trying to find the end of the internet. I don't know if you've ever done that, but sometimes I try to see if I can find the end of it, and it doesn't actually end. But at one point in the middle of the internet, there was a video of David Lynch looking at these same curtains, looking at them going, they're just so beautiful. Look at them. Aren't they just so beautiful? And I thought that's what we wanted. That's what we deserved for that day, was beautiful curtains.
When I think about the day we made this video, I think about the incredible claustrophobia I felt wearing the costume at the end. I was just having like a panic attack inside the helmet, having our hands concealed and then also not being able to see. That it became comfortable at some point, but still always uncomfortable. And I also learned, as a colorblind person, it's very hard to tell when a banana is ripe or not. And the guy there taught me how I could tell.
Oh, you learned something that day.
Yeah, I asked him, like, hey, is this banana yellow? And he said, you colorblind? Like, yeah. He said, oh, my brothers are colorblind. This is how you do it. The stem will be a different color than the rest of the banana.
Okay.
And then at that point, like the stem will stay green while the banana yellows. So he's like, just look for the difference between
You're teaching a colorblind person how to pick a ripe banana.
There you go. Deuteranopia. Now you know. Caught up.
Banana. Modern Guy. This is one of our videos. This is a video where the song is such a quintessential driving song. It just sounds like driving at night. And I wanted to make a driving video, and my concept was to get a green screen, like, because there's never any money to do anything. So let's get a green screen, and we'll sit in a car and we'll shoot it, and we'll sort of do like an old timey, sub in the back. And this director, Alex, he wrote a treatment that involved real cars, stunt drivers, locations, I think maybe shot on film, like full crew, like the full deal. And I got the treatment, and I remember writing an email being like, good luck.
Yeah,
like, what
no
a
way.
fantasy.
There's no way you can do this.
And then he called
money.
me, and we spoke on the phone, and I was like, how the hell are we going to pull off this video for the money that we have? And he laid it out, and he got all these favors. He got the cars for nothing. He got the stunt drivers for super cheap. He got the location for free. He got all of these, pulled all these favors. And you end up with this really great, very great idea. And it's an incredible looking music video. And this is a video that I don't think of often. I kind of forgot about it. It was a pandemic.
I think about this
right?
video while we're playing the song on the stage. Because it was like 40 degrees while we were filming it. And we had to wear the overalls. Or I was wearing, I don't know why, I wore my coveralls.
Well, we got to pick our own wardrobe.
Thought I was going to die.
I was wearing a really nice silk shirt.
I had two different. There was two outfits, and
breezy.
Both outfits were not for the weather.
Wait,
Everyone
this
was
is a video
hiding
where,
in the
where we're
shade.
evil and
there's the bad version and that. Yeah,
that's cool.
And it was really fun, and also hanging out with the stunt drivers and learning how to do the stunts in theory was really fun.
One of the stunt drivers looked just like Sammy Hagar from
he did.
from Van Halen. Controversial thing to say, Sammy Hagar from Van Halen,
not Sammy Hagar from Montrose.
No, or Sammy Hagar from Sammy Hagar. Also, they wanted us to, like, we did some of the driving, but in the stunt bits where things are really happening, they wanted us sitting in the car as a passenger. We're like, no, thank you. We're both dads. We're like, not today, good sir. Not for the budget.
We're doing what?
Yeah, and they ended up not putting us in the cars, and they just had blacked out the windshield, so you couldn't see that we're not in the cars. It's the magic of film.
And the video is magic.
Yep.